Hello everybody, we're back with another episode of Elegantly EDC. Quick sit rep. My part of the globe is currently experiencing a bomb cyclone, and it is currently a toasty 16 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 9 degrees Celsius in my garage where I tape the show. So anyway, today we've got 3 items to look at, one from MecArmy, one from TACRAY, and one from Civivi. All 3 of which, if you have watched the show long enough, will sound like familiar brands as they have made appearances on the show a few times now. Also, as longtime watchers will know, I like flashlights, and that's where we'll kick off this episode, with the MecArmy SGN8 UV version. At first blush, the bodywork looks synonymous with a heavy-duty butane lighter. With a color scheme on par with Buzz Lightyear and a remarkably flat build, the SGN8 has a lot of features to explore, which is interesting given the size of such a small unit. The base is magnetic if you need hands-free lighting, but you could also use the pocket clip and attach it to clothing or a hat if need be. The lanyard hole here on the side also gives you extra flexibility if you like to attach wrist straps or use keychains. The base also has a USB-C port to charge the light, with a charge time of 2 hours according to MecArmy, which is roughly the same amount of time it takes to fall into a YouTube rabbit hole that you never intended to enter. Alright, so let's get into some buttons, combos, lighting options, and the runtimes. Press and hold the right button for a white light. Slight detour here, this green indicates full battery. If this turned red, it would mean it's due for a charge. Anyway, you can cycle through high, medium, and low. And then you can leave it in whatever setting you wish, and it will have a memory mode setting the next time you turn it back on. In the order of high to low, you also have 550 lumens, 150 lumens, and 10 lumens respectively, with runtimes of 3 hours, 5.8, and 54 hours at full charge. There's also a turbo mode here, and you can access it by a double click, still on the right side. And this will activate 1100 lumens. Last setting for this button, if you need some ambient light, a triple click will engage this side light. And from there you can switch between high and low. Moving on to the left side button and its subsequent features, press and hold this left side button and you get the UV setting. You can switch between high or low depending on the intensity you need. And then strobe warning here, there is a strobe mode and you have to double click the left button twice. And then if we click it 3 times, although a little gimmicky, you do get a RGB sequence, and you actually have a couple other choices besides this. You can get a flashing single light, and it'll go through the RGB colors, or you can have what they call a warning light, which is a flashing red and blue sequence. MecArmy is proud to introduce this to their lineup, but it's still in the Kickstarter phase of the project, at least at the time this video has been published. So if you want to be an early backer of the project, or if you're watching this at a much later time and want to purchase one, the best way to do either of those is to head over to MecArmy's website. Moving on to what TACRAY has in store for us in this episode, the MP1. Designed to be small and very EDC friendly, the MP1 functions as more than just a ballpoint pen. Typical trademark of TACRAY, a bolt action release to engage the ballpoint pen, and it's really smooth, I must say. The clip has thumb grooves for better grip when sliding the bolt action, and the body itself has subtle texturing so it doesn't try to escape your grip mid-sentence. The cartridge is disposable, allowing you to refill and reuse the pen once the original one has dried up. Okay, so what separates this pen from all the other ones that they offer? Well, the MP1 incorporates interchangeable tools, enhancing its utility beyond a humble pen. The bit that I currently have installed is for touchscreens and phones and tablets and the like, but by loosening this screw here, I can actually take out this bit. Also on the other side is a pencil, which works quite well as well. And then from there, I can use other bits in this small little container, like a box cutter and window breaker, a Phillips and flathead screwdriver, and a T8 and T6 Torx bit. I had some reservations on how well this would work, given how small this is, but it works surprisingly well. And just to demonstrate, I'll use a Civivi knife as an example here. I have plenty of torque in order to get at some screws that I might need to in a normal daily basis. For heavy duty situations, I highly doubt you'll reach for this MP1, but as an office tool for minor adjustments like I just did, or for suburban tinkering, this is great. I can easily keep the pieces in the travel case, and it's unobtrusive and compact. Though, realistically, I'll leave the screwdriver tip installed as the default until I need to make a switch. As for how the bits stay in place, I went looking for some answers beyond the screw that keeps everything locked down. And I couldn't find anything confirming magnetization, and based on using it, I don't think that's what's happening here. But magnetized or not, the screw does its job. Nothing rattles, nothing falls out, and nothing tries to escape at the worst possible moment. I think it's a clever little tool that doesn't sacrifice its main function for the sake of a million add-ons. It stays humble with a handful of tools that you'll realistically use. So that about wraps up my thoughts on the MP1, and I will be adding this to my EDC organizer after I finish taping the show. But now we're going to pivot back to the Civivi that you got a cameo of earlier. This is the Civivi Pyrus slip joint utility knife with a G10 handle and black scale finish. I've personally nicknamed it the Talon knife because, well, just look at it in all of its hawkbill design glory. I bought this more out of want instead of out of genuine need. Its only purpose is to be a glorified box and letter opener. So if you viewers out there can think of more adventurous pursuits for this little guy, then be my guest. The knife opens up with a little flick right here of the button on the slip joint, and it uses a ceramic ball bearing joint for added smoothness. And then it closes the same way. I'm a fan of knives that have added safety features because as cool as knives can be, they are still really sharp tools that need to be respected. The designer, Ostap Hell, I hope I haven't butchered your name, put a sliding lock down here at the bottom to prevent this from accidentally opening, either on a keychain or in your pocket. Another attention to detail that I think we can all appreciate is a reversible pocket clip, so righties or lefties can use this comfortably. This thing is small, it's brilliant in its design, and very sharp, both in its aesthetics and the actual blade itself. I've genuinely enjoyed using all three pieces of EDC gear featured here. Each brings something fresh and interesting to its corner of the world, so huge thanks to MecArmy and TACRAY for sending these into the show. And on that note, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. I'm going in to warm up.